welcome to the exceptional Heather L. Powers. With over 25 years of experience as a dynamic business leader, Heather has consistently demonstrated her expertise in strategic leadership and organizational development across various sectors. As a passionate advocate for working mothers, she has tirelessly championed for change and empowerment in both professional and personal spheres. Heather's impressive credentials, including her MBA and certifications in change management, women's leadership, project, and product management, underscore her dedication to continuous growth and excellence. Her contributions extend beyond the boardroom as she actively serves on non-profit boards and has been recognized for her outstanding commitment to volunteerism. As we welcome Heather to the stage today, let us be inspired by her remarkable journey and invaluable insights. Please join me in giving a heartfelt round of applause to the extraordinary Heather L. Powers. So that was a great presentation. So yes, you can start your presentation now.
Great. Thank you so much. Hello. My name's Heather. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's wonderful to see all of you, and I'm thrilled to be here. How many of you find yourself going through the motions, but getting to the end of the day or the week and wondering what you've really accomplished? How many of you feel your day or your week gets sidetracked from the best laid plans? And how many of you are ready to change that? Let's get started and see if I can give you some ways to do just that. I'm an organizational leadership expert and a passionate working mom advocate. I'm also a recovering people pleaser. As the oldest of 3 kids, I fit all the stereotypes. And I acted as you might expect. Follow the rules, don't make waves, work hard, and you'll be rewarded. And that's all good. And it worked for me for a long time, until it didn't. A few years ago, I found myself thinking there has to be more. I've done corporate consulting for over 27 years, grown into executive roles with large teams, had profit and loss responsibilities, certifications, degrees. I'd achieved a lot. But I kept telling myself that I didn't want to keep working this way, work this hard towards someone else's goals. I didn't want to be a cog in someone else's wheels. I was tired of working towards someone else's goals at the expense of my own. But what to do? Have you ever heard the saying, when you're in your lane, there is no traffic? Ava DuVernay is an American screenwriter and director and shared this, and I loved it the moment I heard it. It didn't just resonate because Lane is my middle name. To me, when you're in your lane, there is no traffic. That means that when you do what you're supposed to be doing, and you hit that groove, that flow, there's nothing that can stand in your way. When you're in your lane, there's no traffic, no obstacle, no distraction or naysayer, too big to steer around. Doesn't that sound awesome? So how do we get there? I created a simple framework that I've been using with great success. As I've spoken about it and shared it with coaching clients, it resonates with them too. Here it is for your use. I call it finding your power lane using your 3 powers: the power of clarity, the power of choice, and the power to change. Let's unpack this a little bit. There we go. The power of clarity. Think of clarity as a compass, your North Star. It helps guide us. It helps us prioritize our actions. It helps us stay focused on the things that matter most. When we have clarity, it helps us stay focused on what matters most and why it matters to us. Clarity is likely to require some introspection or some deep work, as we say in coaching. It's rarely comfortable, but it is how we gain a deeper understanding of ourselves. In fact, research shows that self-concept clarity, that is, the self-beliefs that are defined, consistent, and stable over time, are associated with higher self-esteem, lower levels of stress, and positive identity. A favorite saying of mine is, if you aren't uncomfortable, you aren't growing. That seems to fit well here. So having clarity reduces stress, contributes to higher self-esteem, serves as our compass or North Star in our decision-making, and generally leads to a greater sense of fulfillment. The power of clarity is pretty important to living and leading an intentional and purpose-driven life. Once you have your clarity, the second power, the power of choice, comes into play. Think of the power of choice, as your roadmap. The power of choice allows you to choose the lane that resonates with you the most. It enables you to break free from the limitations, the expectations, explore new possibilities, and create a life that aligns with who you are. This is taking the insights from your clarity and figuring out how to apply it in relation to your world. It's not solely about making decisions. It's about understanding the impact of those decisions on ourselves and those around us. It involves exploring options, considering consequences, and making informed decisions that move us in the direction of our goals. It's recognizing the lane you're in and confirming it's the one you want, or making the choice to switch lanes, maybe do a U-turn or exit the road completely and find your new lane. The power of choice is recognizing external expectations, but not being bound by them. How incredibly freeing that is. Grabbing onto my power of choice enabled me to leave corporate, start work in small business, pursue my coaching certification, and do so much more to realize my goals of serving people and having the freedom to do it. Now we move on to the third power, the power to change. If the power of clarity is our North Star and aligns our intentions and actions with our values, passions, and purpose, and the power of choice is our roadmap, empowering us to take control of our lives, then the power of change is our tool. It helps us actually implement those choices and realize the change that we seek. And implementation is where the magic really happens. I have done change for a long time. I have the certifications and decades of experience. Consulting is managing change and leading people from the current state to the future state. Coaching is change, helping someone navigate to a better place. Parenting is definitely all about change. I could go on and on about change, but embarrassingly, it wasn't until recently when it really clicked. The power of change is a mindset shift, and it's a commitment to personal growth. It isn't only about doing the task in front of you excellently. It's about understanding how you feel about the work and bringing that with you. The power to change is not only having the ability to change, but also the capacity to change. What do we mean by that? Human capacity can be defined as our critical thinking and problem-solving skills, our strength and dexterity, and our empathy and self-awareness. Amy Jo Martin, an author, investor, speaker, and founder of Renegade Global, speaks to capacity in an interesting way. She actually defines the difference between bandwidth and capacity. Bandwidth is finite, 24 hours in a day, 168 hours in a week. But capacity is infinite. It is potential. It is what we are uniquely qualified to do. We need to be continually optimizing our capacity to continue to change. We do this by being ruthlessly focused on what we alone can do and leveraging our teams, our families, our community to take on work that doesn't serve us anymore. If we stop optimizing our capacity, we risk tapping out on our bandwidth and burning out. The powers of clarity and choice can keep us focused on what matters most. The power to change requires us to keep optimizing to achieve what matters most. Change is the one constant in life. We change daily as we age. We get more gray hair, we gain wisdom and knowledge, and perhaps more importantly, change our minds when new information has us reevaluating our current position. The idea of having an infinite capacity to change is exciting and a little scary. The power to change is being proactive rather than passive. It's taking ownership of our circumstances rather than berating our bosses or our spouse for where we find ourselves today. It involves embracing new opportunities, adapting to challenges, and continuously learning and growing as an individual. The power of change requires behavior change, routine change, rewiring of the brain, and it won't happen overnight. The clearer your roadmap or action plan is, the better. The more you know how you best work, the better. For instance, do you need a lot of structure or are you fine going with the flow? Are you a morning person or a night owl? Do you need large blocks of uninterrupted time, or can you work in a cubicle farm with the constant ping of notifications and team members interrupting you? I know I'm a clearer thinker in the morning. That's best for thoughtful, creative work. I love interacting with people, but I recharge off on my own. And I really benefit from an accountability partner. I find knowing I need to answer not only to myself, but also to my accountability partner is really motivating. So the three powers go together. Realizing a single power is helpful. Harnessing the outcomes of each of the three powers is life-altering. You might have the power of clarity, but without the powers of choice and change, you might never make a decision to implement the changes needed to realize your vision. You could have the power of clarity and choice and know exactly where you want to go, but without the power to change, you could stall soon after you begin. Ava DuVernay might have said, when you're in your lane, there is no traffic. I like to say, when you find your power lane, watch out, world. With clear goals, focused and intentional decisions, and an infinite capacity to change, there's no telling what you can achieve. Many of you know me as the working mom advocate. A lot of what I speak and coach on is how to better support working moms in the workplace. How can this framework of the three powers be applied in this area? I'm going to walk through 3 scenarios to demonstrate this. The first is my teenage son. He's a senior in high school this year, a big year determining where to go to school this fall, what he might want to study, and coming to terms with not being with the same buddies he's been in school with for the last 12 years. His power of clarity began coming into focus this past summer. His school ideas started coming closer to home. His areas of study started norming around a couple fields. He was getting better at reading his internal compass. He exercised his power of choice by creating a roadmap for the next year. Rather than looking at schools in Alaska and Oregon, his final list was largely on the East Coast. He mapped out a schedule for essays and applications, found himself a job, and carved out quite a social life around school and sports. And his power to change was owning these decisions and doing the hard work of implementation. It was hearing the expectations of his coach, his teachers, and even his parents, and voicing his opinion, then having the courage to say when he disagreed, and sticking around to talk about it. I can't say it's been an easy year, but its growth, even in the last 6 months, has been enormous. That's the power of finding his power lane and owning it. So let's talk about the workplace and how this applies in a couple ways, from a leader's perspective and from a mom's perspective. Starting with the leader of a team or organization, they have pretty clear goals. Those might be revenue, growth, production, or other. Often quantifiable, these goals need people to achieve them. In today's talent-short world, that can be a challenge. The leader could use the power of clarity to look inward and ask herself if she's leveraging the team's talent that she currently has in the best way. She might find that she's rigid in when, where, or how work gets done, and may have seen some attrition because of it. She might find that she hasn't really supported working moms in the past, as she believes they're too difficult to manage. She may find other things that she thought to be true, but upon closer reflection, realizes that she was stereotyping or really hadn't asked her employees what they needed. The power of clarity helps her get to the heart of the matter. She needs talent, and her current methods of attracting and retaining talent are not working. With this clarity, our leader determines what she can do about it. She may use the insights from her reflections and her conversations with her team. She might realize that there are things she can do immediately to help her team and other things that she can raise to her leadership. She can flex the core hours of work and even flex where they work. She can speak to each of her team members to understand what they need to be even happier at work. She concludes her power of choice work with a list of options to research and discuss with her leadership. A roadmap, essentially. The power to change again is implementation. It's building on all this work to execute against the roadmap of actions necessary to implement the change. The power of change is this leader rescinding mandates to work in the office 5 days a week. Perhaps it's no meetings on Friday, even considering a 4-day work week or a 6-hour workday. The power of change is realizing that small changes can have a big impact on her team. It's having a continuous mindset to keep improving, keep testing the status quo, and tweak or make wholesale change depending on the needs of her team. It's realizing that when her team is taken care of, her business objectives will be achieved and likely even exceeded. Whatever she decides, the important thing is the mindset shift and the belief that her skills and actions will have a positive impact. So turning to our last example of applying the 3 powers, this is from a mom's perspective. For the mom, the power of clarity is knowing that what she needs from work to best integrate her professional responsibilities with her personal and family responsibilities. This might be flexibility in where and when she works. It could be going to the office 2 days a week rather than 5, or logging on an hour later a couple mornings to accommodate school drop-offs. With clarity, our mom knows what she needs. It's her compass. The power of choice is determining what she's going to do with this knowledge. Will she articulate her needs to her supervisor and have a meaningful and practical conversation? Or will she try to create this within her own work schedule? Will she work with HR or the Women's Employee Resource Group to get the support she needs? The power of choice is determining how she raises the topic at work and how much she pushes to get what she needs to integrate her various roles. It's her roadmap. The power to change is how our mom proactively takes ownership of her new reality. It's the implementation of the choices made. It is requesting the 3 things that will be needle movers in her ability to do it all. It's taking action to overcome obstacles. It's challenging her limiting beliefs, hers and those around her. It's creating a positive impact in her life and the lives of others. Studies show any employee is more productive when they feel they have agency over how they work. In these times of talent shortages, why wouldn't we want to provide our current team members with what they need to be happy, productive employees? The power of clarity, the power of choice, and the power to change. These 3 powers can change your life. These 3 powers help you find your power lane to accelerate you to success. There we go. All right. So as I wrap up, if I could ask a favor, I'd love to know what you thought about this presentation. I'd like to know what you liked about it so I could do more, and what didn't work so well so I could improve on that. If you could take your phone out, open your camera app and scan this QR code, and click the link and take a quick survey. It's under 2 minutes. I promise it's really quick. Thank you so much. This is really important to me. And as a thank you for your feedback, if you enter MOMS, that's MOMS, I'll send you the draft introduction to my upcoming book, The Power Lane. It's just 3 pages. I'm not sending you off with homework, I promise. I hope it's an interesting preview. This is yours for sharing your thoughts. I'll leave you with this. I hope all this talk about power inspired you and gave you an idea or 3 to ponder this weekend. I'm not going to lie and say finding your power lane is easy or working through your 3 powers is always fun, but I will say it is extremely rewarding. Spending time truly understanding who you are and what you want out of life is the greatest gift you can give yourself. The power of clarity is like having a spotlight on your goals, with the distracting stuff left off in the dark. Embracing the power of choice to make that a reality is also work, but know that you are not alone. Your family, friends, colleagues, neighbors, we're all here to help. As soon as you have that roadmap, start making asks. It may be for an accountability partner, it could be an ear to listen to you practice, an eye to review your writing. We're happy to be asked and honored to help you. And the power to change, to implement all that's on your roadmap, it's like having the sun shining in your world every day. When you hit the open road in your power lane, you'll know exactly what I mean. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Heather, for the wonderful presentation and explaining about the key points, Heather. So yes, we do have a questions from our audience as well. So, what advice do you have for individuals and organizations looking to take calculated risks and innovate without fear of failure?
Sorry, I think I missed the last part.
So, what advice do you have for individuals and organizations looking to take calculated risks and innovate without fear of failure?
Yeah, that's a great question. I, I would say it's staying connected with those around you. And so making sure that as you're making changes that you're sharing those and sharing not just the change that you're making, but also the reason that you think that change will be better for you and for the organization.
The people who have answered this for this question, so they got the answer. So thank you so much, Heather, for joining this virtual summit 2024 and giving your valuable thoughts and sharing your knowledge to the audience. So we are hoping to see our future sections as well and show some love. So please join our next session, Joe. So she's waiting in the backstage. Bye
Thank you
bye.
so much.